I seriously just have to wonder, leaving this movie, what happened? Shazam! Fury of the Gods stars Zachary Levi, Helen Mirren, Rachel Zegler, and Lucy Liu. And this film continues the story of teenage Billy Batson, who, upon reciting the magic word Shazam, is transformed into his adult superhero alter ego, Shazam. Now, going into this movie, I was really looking forward to it because I am such a big fan of that first Shazam movie. That movie felt like a breath of fresh air amidst a bunch of iffy movies in the DC universe at the time. So I was excited to see what they would do in a follow-up, as you have David F. Sandberg returning, writing and directing this movie, of course Zachary Levi returning, and the supporting cast as well. Coming out of this movie, though, I am very disappointed. But before I get more into my in-depth thoughts on this movie and why it was so disappointing for me, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy the rest of this video, and comment down below what are your thoughts or expectations for Shazam! Fury of the Gods. But let's keep talking about the movie. I think what really made the first Shazam movie work was how much heart it had at its core. It was a story exploring what it means to find a family. A very heartwarming story of a kid who was basically abandoned by his parents and now finding a new home in his foster family. And I really wanted to see them continue on with those core relationships in this movie, evaluate stuff a little bit more, build upon stuff that was already set up in the first movie. I feel like this movie at times really dropped and removed what really made this Shazam movie work. Not only is this movie not funny or charming like the first movie was, I wasn't attached to the characters in the overall story. The story is run-of-the-mill. Two villains come to town, they want revenge because of something that Shazam did to their parents. They're trying to get revenge on them. The villains in this movie, played by Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren, and also Rachel Zegler, but she's kind of an anti-hero. Lucy Liu and Dame Helen Mirren are incredibly wasted in this movie. They literally have nothing to do. I feel like they were just cashing the check, phoning in their performance here, and calling it a day. I was not impressed with their work here. It also is due to the fact that their characters are just in paper thin. They have zero depth, and in the first movie, the movie started out with exploring Mark Strong's character, and while I don't think the villain in that movie was the greatest either, here it's a drop-off in quality. And that's saying something because I really wasn't the biggest fan of Mark Strong's villain in that first movie. I think Shazam! Fury of the Gods as a whole is a drop-off in quality. Back to what I was saying earlier, the family aspect that made the first one so heartfelt feels lost here, for a good bit of the movie at least. I feel like it comes back together towards the third act, and then the third act has some heart-wrenching moments, but nothing that really felt earned because the first two acts of the movie I just wasn't invested. Our characters are split up for most of the time, and I overall wasn't really impressed with Billy Batson's arc in this movie. Batson is dealing with a little bit of imposter syndrome in this movie, and that is not really explored to its fullest extent, I feel. It could have done more with that and even added more depth to the character. I will say I think the action sequences in this movie are fun. They're turn your brain off kind of stuff that you can just watch on screen and feel entertained enough by. The first act actually has a great sequence with Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler. I love it when movies utilize that song because that song will just get you pumped up. I got those Shrek 2 flashbacks. But the movie is just too long and it's just disposable. You're not going to remember anything about this movie, I feel like, going forward. And it also just feels inconsequential because of the follow-up movies in the DC universe. I don't think are really going to refer back to this movie, and I'll talk about more of that in a second. But this movie just wasn't funny. I barely laughed at all. The characters and writing as a whole, I feel, leave much to be desired. Same goes for the story, and just the overall movie as a whole wasn't what I wanted a follow-up to the first great Shazam movie to be. Let's talk about how it's going to move forward in the DC universe, because I'm not going to get too much into what's going to go moving forward in the DC universe as a whole, because I'm not James Gunn, I'm not Peter Safran, I don't really know what's going to go on. But this movie, and it has two post-credit scenes, so make sure you stick out for the first one, and then at the very end there's a follow-up one. Both, of course, setting up more for the Shazam universe specifically. One featuring a big new step for the character of Shazam, and I am fairly interested in seeing more of this character. I think Zachary Levi is good, not the greatest in this movie though. And I like Billy Batson as a whole. This movie didn't ruin that character for me necessarily. I just have a feeling that what they set up in this movie is not going to come to fruition in any follow-up movies. I just don't think that this movie is going to get a sequel. And then also, without getting into spoilers, even though it was posted on social media, I don't want to spoil seeing a specific someone in this movie. The ending of this movie has a bit of a gut punch moment, and it didn't really work for me because I wasn't really invested, like I said. But they use a specific DC character in a way that feels so forced. Like, if you're gonna go down the path that you were setting up to go down, go through with it. Instead, it takes a quick right turn into an ending that doesn't really feel earned. I'm not all too upset by it by any means, but it's just felt weird. Overall, like I mentioned, Shazam! Fury of the Gods is a very disappointing sequel. The story, writing, and jokes specifically were all lackluster. The cast is fine enough. I liked Rachel Zegler and Jack Dylan Grazer. They were two of the highlights of this movie. But Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren get nothing to do in this movie. They're utterly wasted as performers. And this movie just doesn't have really any charm to it, and that's why I was left feeling pretty meh overall on it. I'm gonna give Shazam! Fury of the Gods a C. I really wanted this movie to work for me, but it just didn't. But what are your thoughts on Shazam! Fury of the Gods? If you have seen the movie, let me know down below in the comment section. What did you think of it? I want to thank you so much for watching this review, and again, if you did enjoy it, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as that notification bell so you don't miss any further videos. And as always, look forward to more videos and reviews coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.